Georgia's children need health coverage so that they can fully participate in their families, schools, and communities now and contribute to Georgia later. Nothing is as important as a healthy start in life.
We had a lot of challenges, and I don't think any challenge has been any greater than health care and health coverage for people in general, but most especially for children.
Health coverage is important because it allows children to receive the basic health care that they need in order to maximize their potential.
I think it's not only our moral obligation to provide health coverage to our kids, but I also think it's a profoundly theological issue, regardless of your tradition.
300,000 children in Georgia. 12% of all children ages 0 to 18 in 2006. Enough children to fill Turner Field 6 times have no health coverage today.
Right now I have no coverage on my children. I've just recently applied for Peach Care. I recently received a pay raise from my employer, and I was removed off of Medicaid.
Health coverage offers one of the best ways to keep childhood illnesses from becoming lifelong health problems. And when Georgia's children are healthy, their families and communities benefit too.
I think back to a rotation in pediatrics that I was on, where we had a young patient who had to be hospitalized and was kept in-house for about 5 days with an acute asthma exacerbation. And, you know, when we asked the mother why she had let the asthma get out of control, she stated that she didn't have any health coverage.
Health care coverage is always important when I see a child, because oftentimes I may have to refer this child out to a subspecialist, I may have to refer them out to receive important tests that they need, or they just may need medications to complete the course of therapy.
Insuring Georgia's children reduces costs for families, communities, and our state. Sometimes keeping a child insured is necessary for his very survival.
James was born in March as a premature baby of last year. He was a meth and cocaine baby. I became James's mom, and he is adopted. James is special needs. He's had 8 surgeries. He's autistic. He has cerebral palsy. He has seizure disorder. He cannot eat like other babies can. He has to be fed in a tube. He can smile. He's got a shunt. He did have a stroke at 3 months of age.
I have 3 kids of my own, and to not be able to take my child without fear of bankruptcy to the hospital when he's running 103-degree fever in the middle of the night is unimaginable to me. And so what I want for myself, I want for any human being and any parent that has a child who's terrified in the middle of the night that their child might die.
Children who are insured receive more consistent medical treatment. Children who get consistent treatment get more effective care. Diagnoses are more accurate. There are fewer emergency room visits, fewer hospitalizations, and fewer unmet medical needs.
When the winter time comes, my older son, he catches the croup really easy. We probably visit the doctor's office or the emergency room probably about 6 times during the cold season.
More and more states are moving toward providing 100% coverage for all children because it's an investment that simply makes sense. But too many children who are eligible for these important programs remain unenrolled. Too many more are in families earning too much for public coverage, but go without health insurance because it is simply unaffordable.
David is 11 years old. He doesn't have very good eyesight, and he needs glasses. If I didn't have the insurance coverage, I couldn't afford to buy his contacts or his glasses. Before David got glasses, he sat in the back of the class, middle of the class, and they kept moving him forward because he couldn't see. He was having a hard time paying attention, seeing the board. He just didn't have any interest. When I got this vision test done and they told me that he needed glasses, he was more active in class, he paid more attention, and his learning ability definitely improved.
Well, Medicaid and Peach Care are extremely important to the children of Georgia because it allows these children, especially children of the working poor and our families who can't afford health care, to have access to the health care that they need.
Children covered through Medicaid have comprehensive, affordable insurance that costs about 30% less than private insurance. And children are the least costly group covered by Medicaid, comprising nearly half of the program's enrollees, but less than 20% of spending on the program.
Medicaid and Peach Care it does make a big difference when you can be covered by either one. It puts you at ease because you know that that you can get the care when it's needed.
Georgia's hardworking families contributed $20 million toward the cost of their children's health care through Peach Care premiums last year. Without quality coverage, families struggled.
He's on 13 different types of medicine. He's on it for his breathing treatments, for his lungs. He has seizure medications to keep him from having seizures. He has medicine that helps keep the fluid in his head from being too much pressure there for him. Health insurance matters to us because with my husband and my insurance, they don't take pre-existing problems, and he's pre-existing. And with Medicaid, they help us, give us all the support and all the help that we need for James.
My youngest had hearing problems when he was born, and they told me that he was going to need tubes in his ears. It took a couple of surgeries and to have the tubes put in, and a lot of doctor visits and a specialist. The cost of that, if I didn't have Medicaid, would have been too high for me to cover, and he might not have gotten the medical attention he needed with that. Now his hearing is amazing. He hears more than I want him to. He is a very outgoing child, and he may not have been had he not had those hearing and the tubes put in.
Private insurance is covering fewer families in Georgia each year. Many employers simply cannot afford to offer comprehensive, high-quality health insurance. Yet programs already in place could cover more than 2/3 of Georgia's uninsured children today.
If we want to be the type state to attract industry, to have good, solid industry, we've got to have families that are healthy and able to work and able to get a good education. And children in school that feel bad or have their head on the desk because they have a toothache or a headache, they can't learn.
The short-term benefits to kids are the most easily documented part of the puzzle. The long-term benefits, would have a ripple effect into the economy, into the prison system, into the, into neighborhoods.
Thanks to strong public programs, 20% more children have health coverage today than they did 10 years ago. These programs fill the gaps so that more and more children can participate fully in school, sports, and community activities.
In order for, a student athlete, any athlete to be successful, they must be healthy. I have several students who cannot participate in sports because you have to have insurance.
There was a lot of times I needed health care, and at first I wasn't able to get it.
The arches in her foot are not there. The pain that she was experiencing it almost ruined her track and field career. Because she did not have health insurance, she couldn't go and see the doctor. But she is one of those athletes who will go to the next level. Colleges want her. She has that absolute ability to move forward.
When I run, it feels like just everything to me. And when I win, marvelous.
Just as the state of Georgia must educate every child, kids also need our help so they can receive appropriate health care right when they need it.
I hope and pray that my children can live a healthy life, a life where they can become educated and do anything that they want to do.
When I was seeing a child who had a case of emesis or vomiting, upon closer examination of this child, we realized that he had some neurological deficits. We went on to refer him to the local hospital for a CT scan and found out that he had a brain tumor. It was a very early detection of this brain tumor, and the fact that he had coverage where we could immediately send him to the hospital, get an x-ray, get a definitive diagnosis. We were able to intervene on behalf of this child and send him to the neurologist, have his tumor removed, and he's alive today.
What I want for James is him to be able to grow up like anybody else and be able to have what anybody else has and be able to learn the way anybody else learns. And with Medicaid, they can make it happen.
Georgia's greatness and certainly economic stability for the last few years has been based on growth and growth in jobs. If, in fact, we don't give our children the health care they need, we will not be able to sustain the growth and the momentum that we've developed, because we won't have this healthy, educated workforce ready to fill the jobs that we now have. If we want a successful Georgia in the future, we have to equate that success to the success of our children.
We'd have less problems, we have less sickness, or more time to spend the time that we need with them other than being in hospitals, worrying about our bills, worrying how we're going to cover things, getting extra jobs. These kids need us.
If they don't have proper health care and they're not taken care of at a young age, they're not going to be able to be successful people in the future.
If they don't have good dental insurance, they won't be able to smile. If they can't see, they can't read and learn.
Health insurance is essential. It is vital. It is crucial.
Our children are our future. They're going to be taking care of us when we get older.
We have people on the House side and people on the Senate side that have this incredible opportunity to see that our children have the health care coverage they need. And I would like to ask them, as they face the multitude of issues they face, to not let that be a debate, but let it be a priority, that we make sure, with all efforts we put forth, to make sure that our children have the health care coverage they need.